This is our 2004 B6 Audi S4 Avant. Personally, my favorite body style for pretty much any sedan. We got this car in about February when my dad's Audi Q7 got hit in the back by a semi-truck. And this is another Doug Demuro style review. I've done one of these before on my 350Z. You guys can check that out. I'll put the link somewhere. And like I said in that video, this isn't to mock Doug or anything like that. It's just kind of a homage in a way. So sit back and enjoy, and I hope I don't mess up too much or miss too many things. So again, this is our 2004 B6 Audi S4 Avant. What makes this car so special is that it's an S4, meaning that it has the 4.2 liter V8 under the hood with 339 horsepower and 302 pound-feet of torque. Not to mention, it is an Audi. It does have a quattro all-wheel drive system. Avant is basically Audi's code for wagon. So today I'm going to take you guys through the quirks and features and some of the little details about this car and let you guys in on the secret that is the S4. The one thing I do love about it is that from the side it has this almost torpedo-like appearance, almost like a missile that's barreling down the street, how it goes from larger to skinnier in the front. And I just love that shape, and also how the rear axle is really far back towards the rear bumper, so there's not a lot of rear overhang like a lot of wagons, like the Mercedes wagons and some of the BMW wagons have. It really gives this car a really nice and sporty stance. The rear, again, is pretty boring. I mean, you have the S badge here, and that's really the only giveaway you get. And you have a dual exhaust, but the dual exhaust comes standard on the A4s as well, so it really looks about the same. But I'm sure even though it's super quiet, it's hilariously quiet, I'm sure you guys will still want to hear it, so here you go. So with the car being this boring, the question is, why do people love it so much? There's so many enthusiasts who love these cars. There's plenty of people who love just the A4 Avants and sedans. B6, B7, B5, B8, all of them. But why do people love these cars so much? Here, I believe, is why. These cars epitomize what German engineering is all about. Business. Just business. They want a vehicle that can go pretty quickly, but not attract a lot of attention, not be showy, not be flashy, because it's all about business. There's no party. But we all know one thing about the Germans is they do love to party. So what they do is they don't put their party on the outside like Honda does and a lot of other companies do. They bring that party into the interior and into the motor. Lift the hood, and there you will find the 4.2 liter V8 engine. Sorry about the water, it just rained. And this is the same block that you find in this car, in the Q7s, same block as in also the V8 Audi R8. The one thing I do love about this engine bay is just how simple it is, how clean, how just simplistic it really is. There's your intake manifold, there's all your coil packs, there's your dipstick, there's where you put in your oil. You don't need to look into it much further than that. And you know what? I think that is really, really cool. Before we get into the main interior, I want to first open up the Avant liftgate and show you guys what makes the Avant so special, and show you guys all the extra room that you really do get in here. So back here, as you guys can see, there's tons of room. Down here you have your spare tire, which mine is currently shredded, but we'll be getting a new one of those at some point. The weirdest thing back here, though, I would say, is probably the 12-volt outlet that sits right over here. We're going to find another one just like it in the front that pops out, just like this. And then over on this side, you have your navigation system. But for sure, the weirdest thing back here is right up here. So if you turn this knob here, and then turn the knob right up here, you'll find your warning triangle. In case you're ever in some kind of roadside emergency, you can throw out your warning triangle to slow down traffic. And then also back here is, I'm guessing, your emergency trunk release. I'm supposing this is. Now here we are in the interior of the Audi S4, and guys, I must say, for a car that's less than $10,000, this is like such a just luxury interior. This is one of the most luxurious interiors I've seen in a sub $10,000 sports car, like ever. Like ever. First off, let's start with these seats. These seats are Recaro Alcantara seats. I didn't even know that this car came with that when we got it. We just pulled up to it, looked inside, and I was like, oh damn, it's got Alcantara seats. That is nice. I love Alcantara seats. I mean, I don't want Alcantara steering wheels or like anything like interior parts finished off in Alcantara. But seats are good. Seats are fine. Seats are nice in Alcantara. Gotta try not to sweat in them too much. One of the major quirks about this car, something that I really don't see in cars anymore, that it has a business card holder right here. So you can press this little button here, and out pops a business card holder. I'm trying to think of a scenario in which you'll be in your S4 and need a business card from your business card holder, not from your wallet or bag or from your pocket or something like that. I can only imagine when you're driving around constituents and you're talking about doing business that you just open up this pocket, grab a business card, and just throw it back to him in the back seat. Which, I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of fly. If I was in a V8 Avant, sports car like this, and I was entertaining some guests, you know what I mean? Like a little vroom vroom, and I just popped out a business card, threw it back to him, I would want to do business with that guy. I'd be like, yo, he's cool. But anyways, there's a weird business card holder in here. I don't know why Audi put it here. Probably could have put another cup holder or anything else of use, but business cards. Next to that, similar to the RS6 that Doug reviewed, is the cup holder. That is this really flimsy, really over-engineered, just weird thing. I don't even know. It doesn't really hold drinks very well. You have to have like a big drink, and it's so nerve-wracking because the only way to use this cup holder is to use a big drink so that it doesn't fall out of the cup holder. But then you have a gigantic drink over top of all of your electronics. So you gotta run the gamble of, okay, do I use this cup holder with the big drink, knowing it might not spill, but it could be top heavy and fall over and destroy my whole stereo system? Or do we not use the cup holder? Too many people don't choose the latter, and they destroy their whole stereo system. Now, aside from the cup holder, you have your stereo, which is pretty basic, FM, AM, 2 dials here to change your volume and change your station. CD changer up above that. It still has a tape deck, which I find interesting. And then all the way down here, past the econ buttons, you have your heated seats with 6 levels of heated seat control. 6 variations of butt warmth that you can choose from that are at your disposal. Your butt could be anywhere between 6 levels of warmth. 6. Freaking 6. BMW, Mercedes, they don't have that. They only have 3. Audi, on top of the game. Audi seems to have put in double the amount of seat heat variability than its competitors. Maybe that's why they chose the number 6. Which personally, I found to be a strange number. Like, not 5 or 3 like everyone else does. But besides the heated seat controls, what else we have in this interior? As we move back, first we have this little cubby which you can, put some coins in. Going back now, we have our gear lever for the Tiptronic transmission. This is actually the same transmission that's in the RS6 and the same one that's in the A4s and the A6s and all of them. They all have actually the same transmission. But when it got with the RS6 with the 450 horsepower, that was where it about reached its limit. Also, I want to mention that it does have a sport mode, like also all other Audis have a sport mode. But in this car, it really does something. It really wakes the car up. You really feel an increased amount of responsiveness from the pedal, and it just feels so much angrier and stronger and more aggressive on the road. Moving back further now, we have the navigation system. Now, the navigation system, while it's controlled from the middle here, unlike modern navigations that we have in most cars nowadays, it's not a center screen right here in the middle. It's actually in your gauge cluster over here. Hit navigation, and it enters the navigation screen. Hit it one more time, and it's being activated. And now you can enter your destination for wherever you need to go. Now we have GPS on our phones, so we don't really use these things nowadays. But for back in 2004, this was pretty good. This was pretty high-end, especially to have it in your gauge cluster here, which nowadays it seems like these exotic cars have moved it back into their gauge cluster, aside from having it in the center like they used to. But this car was already doing that back in 2004. So Audi knew what was going on. They knew what to do right. They just hadn't done it right, I guess, yet. Also, there's another 12-volt outlet right here that just pops open, just like that one in the trunk, but this one pops open kind of 90 degrees all the way around and comes out flat. I do find this pretty cool, considering that after this they just switched to little plugs that you would stick in there, like how almost every other car has, which would easily get lost and you'd have to replace pretty often. There is a piece missing back here. I'm pretty sure it's just like some storage holder or something like that. It's not really missed in any way. But what I have up that should be down is the armrest right here. The armrest is again the same armrest that is in the RS6 from Doug Demuro's video, that has the top part that goes up. Now ours broke off, you can see, by just bumping into it just one time. You crack them, you break them, it's inevitable. These are only 15 bucks on eBay, so I'm gonna be buying one of those pretty soon. But there are two cup holders here. The front one is honestly fantastic. It fits just about any drink you have, any water bottle, any drink from a movie theater, things like that, pretty much anything. The one behind it's a little bit smaller, but it's great for like a little coffee or something like that. I do find it kind of weird though, how they should have probably just not had the storage space back there and just had two full cup holders instead of a cup holder and then like half a cup holder. And then yes, the armrest does go up by pushing the front button. It does have sort of like adjustable levels as to how high you want it, but it can go all the way back and click into place here. And then I think to myself, why would you want the armrest to go back really? Would you just not want, like, if your elbows are just so massive that you just don't want anything down here, or you're shifting gears and you don't want to have an armrest there? When would you want to take away the armrest, especially if there's no cup holder here? In the later B7 model, they actually switched to having a cup holder underneath the armrest, but they kept the armrest, but the armrest is used purely for storage space. Here you can see the car does have paddle shifters, here for upshift, over here for downshift. The horn is in the middle, and there's a little S4 logo right down there. In your center gauge cluster, you have your gear selected over here. Over here you have the water temperature. Over there your fuel, which I don't have enough of. Over here shows the clock with the date right below it. And this car has 73,795 miles on it. The screen inside the cluster is split into 4 different sections. The top one being your radio, the middle being your temperature, the bottom being your drive selector. But then in this third one here, it's a variable gauge that will show you your hours of gasoline, your hours of fuel economy, your range, your current miles per gallon, your average speed, and your average MPG. But they don't include a digital speedometer. That's the one thing that people would love to have right here, would be a digital speedo, but they don't have that. Over here is the headlight dial, right here for your DRLs, right here for your low beams. But I find it really annoying how this car does not have automatic headlights. Even the BMWs, the Mercedes, were getting automatic headlights at this point in 2004, and this car still doesn't have it. Now here we are in the back seat. You don't really get a whole lot. There's an ashtray down here. There's a light up here. There's shades for the windows right here. But it's in the center console here where things start to get pretty interesting. So first, let's bring it down and show you the cup holder. The cup holder is an adjustable cup holder. It can fit almost any size drink, from a very large drink to what looks like a very small drink if you put it all the way in. I'm not sure if this is a common thing in cars at that time or now, but I personally have never seen this before, and I think it is really cool. Then above that we have another really cool, wonder why it's here kind of thing, is a first aid kit. This personally was the last thing I expected to see under this center console lid. The only situation I can realistically imagine someone needing this is if, say, your kid got hurt at the playground, or, you know, someone skinned their knee or something like that, and you don't have any band-aids or anything with you. Your S4 comes equipped with a first aid kit right here in the center console, fresh and ready to be used at your disposal. Then above that, we have something that I, again, have never seen before. There's a ski bag in the back of the S4. This bag is meant for your skis after a day on the slopes. You can put your skis in here instead of putting them on the roof where they might drip onto your paint or make it dirty, and put them inside of this bag going through the interior. I think this is pretty thoughtful. I don't know about thought out, but very thoughtful of Audi to put in here. I can only imagine the other uses that people have had for this thing, such as your beach umbrella. Whoever used this probably used it only about once, because once they realized how hard it is to close, they were quickly like, wow, I really don't want to do this every time I use my ski bag. There we go. So now I'm going to show you guys what makes the Avant by showing you how fast you can take out the rear seat and then put down the rear backrest to maximize your space for a long trip or some kind of voyage where you need all the luggage space you can get. And there you go. Now you have all this room in your Audi S4 Avant. In fact, I'm about 5'8", and I can sit back here, my whole body laying down flat. And that is a little tour of the V6 Audi S4 Avant. Now I think it's time to get it on the road and drive it and see what all these enthusiasts rave about all the time with these cars. Man, that needs an exhaust. It needs an exhaust so bad. Alright, so here we are in the V6 Audi S4. And I gotta say, the first thing that you really notice about this car is that it is remarkably quiet. Like, it has this I wouldn't say huge, but very aggressive 4.2 liter V8, and yet it makes barely any noise. Like, none. You hear this like drone in a way that you know is the engine, but it doesn't really sound like the engine. So until you put any kind of exhaust system on this thing, it's dead quiet. My favorite thing about it though has got to be the suspension. The suspension is just so smooth. It's so balanced. Like, even in hard turns, you have plenty of confidence that it'll never skid out, it'll never slip, never stutter, nothing. Just keeps going. So this car being an automatic, I suppose that can take away from it a little bit. I've never driven a manual S4, but my guess is that it probably feels a bit faster, but this still feels plenty fast. It's strange. It doesn't give you a crazy sensation of speed, but you know you're going fast. It just kind of pulls you forward. Like, it's just that classic four-wheel drive, just pull forward. Not like a launch. It doesn't yaw backward a bunch, but it just goes, just moves forward through space. It's crazy, and it does it so quickly. The best part is on the highway, really, because on the highway, it's like if you want to go fast, you just put your foot down just a little bit more, and you're going fast. You really don't even need to use your whole gas pedal range. You can just put it down just a little bit more, and you just start speeding up out of nowhere. I think we mentioned passing power in one video. This car has a lot of passing power, for sure. I will say one of the big downsides about this car is that the fuel economy is somewhat abysmal. It has still the A4 gas tank, but now double the cylinders, so it uses double the fuel essentially. And yeah, it's just not good. I'm at the gas station quite a lot. like at least once a week, maybe twice sometimes. Alright, so now I'm gonna drop it into sport mode. Oh geez, and you already feel it, like it's already like you can feel there's like more torque build up like right away. And now it's suddenly so much more aggressive feeling. Like it's just like it's just sort of creeping on its tippy toes. Then it's just like, oh man, it just gets at it. Yeah, sport mode, this thing wakes right the hell up. Oh my goodness. I can feel it just by pressing the pedal. I can feel it wanting to go just so much more. This car does have a manumatic mode, so I can go into drive and then manumatic. So now I can shift my own gears, and I can use the paddle shifters to do it. If you're wondering about the responsiveness of the paddle shifters, it's alright. It's okay. It's not like amazing. It does take like half a second until it actually shifts from when you press it. It's not like a Porsche PDK system or something like that. There is a transmission tune you can get for this car that does make it shift much faster, much harder, and just make it faster overall, or feel faster overall. But yeah, I just can't get over how quiet this car is. Like, I'm definitely doing some exhaust modifications to it as soon as I can, because I've got to hear this thing. I've got to hear this engine roar. It feels like such a caged animal. Sport mode is like you didn't let it out the cage, but you gave it like one paw of freedom or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not all the way out, but it's getting there. Oh man. In drive mode, it's like half of this. It's not even close to this. I wish it was manual. Sadly, it's not, but it's alright. Alright, we'll do a little pull here. Alright, and that's the speed limit. I wish this had an exhaust so bad. Oh my god, that would have been so gnarly. I must say, the one thing I admire the most about this car is how it can switch from aggressive sports car to basic daily driver, literally like that, like so fast. It's right at that power level where it's not too powerful to not still feel like a daily driver in a way, but it's still at that power where it's just enough where it's like you're faster than pretty much every other car around you. And I must say, it is entertaining. It is so much fun. Well, I hope you enjoyed a tour of this Audi S4, and now may I turn you to the Doug score. Starting with the weekend category and styling, the car doesn't really have any sharp features or hard curves or edges, but has more of a rounded off design, but still a sporty look. I give it a 5 out of 10. The S4 goes 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds, which gives it a 5 out of 10. In handling, the car rolls quite a bit side to side, but it's not too bad. The car still stays tight in the turns, and I give it a 6 out of 10. Fun factor is definitely high. It has torque for days on windy back roads, and then is amazing in a straight line. I give it a 7 out of 10. The cool factor is decent. Most enthusiasts who know what it is love this car, but anyone who doesn't know what it is doesn't even look at it. So in cool factor, it gets a 5. This gives us a weekend score of 28. Starting in the daily category in features, the car has most of your necessary amenities, but not really much else. After all, it is from 2004, so it is a bit dated. I give it a 4 out of 10. This is a very comfortable car. I give it a 6 out of 10. Quality is decent. There is a well-known issue with the timing chains in the motor that when it goes can blow the entire motor. But the interior is really nice and everything is very well put together. I give it a 5 out of 10. Practicality is high because it is an Avant body style, but it's also not very good on gas. I give it a 6 out of 10. For value, these things are pretty cheap, but there is a lot of cost to owning them after you've already bought them, and I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. This makes the daily score 26 out of 50, which gives the Audi S4 Avant a 54 out of 100 here. This makes a lot of sense, right between the E46 M3 and the M5, because it is a very dailyable, very useful car, yet still very fun and very fast.
But to the S4's credit, this is the only car in this list that was capable of hauling the 5-speed transmission I bought for the Beamer.